The mathematical precision of biblical Hebrew. Reading sacred Jewish texts, we are often bewildered at how seriously Jewish scholars, or other individuals of faith, have addressed words and verses in the Hebrew Bible, in ancient times as well as at present. For example, if the same word appears twice, in two different and seemingly unrelated verses of the Bible, the general attitude in ancient Jewish interpretations of biblical text is that probably some hidden message is conveyed, which should be uncovered, about the linkage between the different usages of a seemingly identical word. A famous example are the two Hebrew words, hayika and heka. They are spelled the same, but pronounced differently. They are also located far apart in the Hebrew Bible, and carry seemingly different meanings. In Genesis 3 verse 9, the word means, "Where art thou?" In Lamentations, believed to be written by prophet Jeremiah, same word appears in the first verse. It means, in today's everyday parlance, how come, as in, how come you are still here? Are these two words really related in any way? Should we attach any significance to the shared spelling of the two words? At first and superficial glance, one is tempted, or inclined, to relate to this careful analysis of the meaning of each word and verse in the Hebrew Bible, and the meticulous exploration of hidden meanings in them or their mutual relationships, as excess and exaggeration of people of faith who believe in the divine source for the Hebrew Bible. Is this inconceivable that the Hebrew Torah had been written with occasional random selection of words and phrases, not unlike one may find in any typical human text? Why treat each word so seriously? Expressed in other words, have not Jewish scholars, in their lengthy explanations of every single word and verse in the Hebrew Bible, somehow crossed the fine line of reasonable interpretation of sacred text? The purpose of this podcast is to demonstrate the mathematical precision of Torah text. This precision often leaves one stunned at the high level of attention to detail displayed by Torah words and their interrelationships. This knife-sharp precision of expression cannot but arouse respect for Torah text, even from non-believers. Accordingly, none of the three examples that follow relates in any way to articles of faith. The sheer intention of the examples is to demonstrate the exactness of expression found in the Hebrew Bible. It leaves no one in doubt about what biblical Hebrew text, words, sentences, or verses intend to convey. Example 1, and there was evening and there was morning the first day, Genesis 1 verse 5. This is the common verse one may find in English translations of the Hebrew Bible. Alas, this is not what is written. In 1993 to 1994, I spent a year in Madison, Wisconsin, where I was a visiting guest professor at the invitation of the local branch of Wisconsin University. A few days after arrival to Madison, I went to a local bookstore to purchase an English version of the Hebrew Bible. I made up my mind, in advance, that I would buy only a translation that fulfilled a certain criterion, that the 5th verse of Genesis was properly translated. I had to examine several different translations before finding a single version where the verse appeared correctly translated. And there was evening and there was morning one day. Why one day is kosher, and first day is logically impossible? Answer: you can denote something first when, and only when, it appears at first position of an orderly sequence of objects. When there is yet only one object, it is nonsensical to denote it first, even if other objects may join at a later time. The Torah makes it no secret that the days of creation happened consecutively, in an orderly succession. Therefore, one cannot logically denote the first day of creation first, when there were not yet a second day, a third day, and so on. First day, or day one, are logically wrong. One day is correct, and this is how it appears in the Hebrew Bible. Example 2, Thou shalt love thy neighbor as yourself, Leviticus 19 verse 18. This is one of the most well-known verses of the Bible. Alas, this is not what is written in the Hebrew text. A common joke among young Israelis. Friend 1, tell me, a fisherman, does he love fish? Friend 2, of course he does. Friend 1, so why does he eat them? The source of the joke humor, agreeing that one exists, is that the same word, love, is employed in two divorced senses. When one asks his friend, do you love wine, and do you love your child, the meanings imparted by the word love are incompatible with one another. One loves wine because it satisfies her needs. When same question is asked about one's own child, it implies total readiness to satisfy someone else's needs, the child's needs. The first love implies taking. The second love implies unconditional giving. And when one gives, it is most often expressed with the qualifying word. 2. Like in, the money was given to the needy. The Hebrew Torah, in an obvious effort to clarify that the intended meaning is love in order to give, rather than love in order to take, formulates the command to love thy neighbor as follows, literally, word for word, translation. Love to your friend as yourself. Interestingly, this is the sole chapter, in the whole of the Hebrew Bible, where this bizarre combination, love to, does appear. It reappears in verse 34 of same chapter. Apparently, when a commandment is given in the Torah, the language of the law should be clear-cut, as in a legal document, leaving no space for confusion. Example 3, Thou shalt not put a stumbling block before the blind, Leviticus 19 verse 14. The English translation of the original Hebrew verse, as it commonly appears in English versions of the Bible, distorts the original meaning of the Hebrew text. The latter appears, bizarrely one may add, with the word give rather than put. Translated literally from the Hebrew Bible, the verse reads, Thou shalt not give a stumbling block to the blind, Leviticus 19 verse 14. This lends the verse a whole new meaning, and Jewish scholars painstakingly interpreted it, delivering a panoramic view of the basic idea underlying the Hebrew text. At its core, this commandment instructs the observer of the commandment to refrain from a certain type of deception, the deception of pretending to give, while in truth taking advantage of the receiver who is blind, namely, unaware of the real disadvantageous circumstance under which the supposed act of giving is exercised. I have addressed this verse in great detail, based on traditional Jewish scholarship, in section 1.3.3 of my book, downloadable from my blog, at hyamshore.blog, and also available on the net. Conclusion. The three examples intended to deliver a taste of the mathematical precision with which the Hebrew Bible succinctly conveys ideas and information. These examples may hopefully generate deeper understanding of why Jewish scholars, over many generations, have attributed so much importance to the exact articulation of every verse and every word in the Bible. These examples may also explain why the Hebrew Bible has so meticulously been duplicated by hand, from generation to generation, to guarantee that the exact wording of the Bible be preserved, and that its mathematical precision not be lost. As a result, current-day Bible continues to serve, as it did in the past, source of inspiration and source of guidance to many.